Ever stared at your screen, heart pounding, watching that little, pending icon spin and spin? You've just initiated a transaction on Kraken, maybe buying some Bitcoin, transferring Ethereum, or withdrawing those hard-earned gains, and nothing. Just that infuriating, pending status. You're not alone. The digital echo of, "Why is my transaction pending on Kraken?" reverberates across forums and social media, a collective sigh of frustration from traders worldwide. Let's rewind for a moment. Kraken, a major player in the cryptocurrency exchange arena, handles a staggering volume of transactions daily. Think of it as a bustling financial hub, a digital Wall Street operating 24/7. But just like any busy hub, bottlenecks can occur. And when your money is involved, those bottlenecks feel like an eternity. We're living in a world of instant gratification. We tap a button, and a ride arrives, food appears, and messages fly across continents in milliseconds. So, when a digital transaction, something inherently faster than traditional banking, gets stuck in limbo, it's natural to feel a surge of anxiety. But before we dive into the specific reasons your Kraken transaction might be lingering, let's address the elephant in the room, the emotional roller coaster. Trading crypto is a high-stakes game. Volatility is its middle name. And when you add the uncertainty of a pending transaction to the mix, it's a recipe for stress. You start questioning everything. Did you enter the correct address? Is Kraken experiencing technical difficulties? Did you just lose your money? These are the anxieties that plague every trader at some point. And to address these anxieties, we need to understand the mechanics behind those pending transactions. So, why is your transaction pending on Kraken? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about network congestion. Blockchain networks, the backbone of cryptocurrencies, operate on a decentralized system. When a large number of transactions are submitted simultaneously, the network can become congested. Think of it as rush-hour traffic on a digital highway. During periods of high trading volume, especially during significant price fluctuations, the network can slow to a crawl. This is particularly true for Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two most popular cryptocurrencies. Their networks, while robust, are not infinitely scalable. When the mempool, the waiting area for unconfirmed transactions, fills up, transactions get delayed. Kraken, like other exchanges, relies on these networks to confirm transactions. If the network is slow, Kraken's hands are tied. Next, we need to consider transaction fees. Every cryptocurrency transaction requires a fee, paid to the network's miners or validators, who process and confirm the transaction. The size of this fee determines the priority of your transaction. A lower fee means your transaction might sit in the mempool for longer, waiting for its turn. Kraken, when setting default fees, attempts to balance cost and speed. However, during times of network congestion, these default fees might become insufficient. Furthermore, Kraken's internal processing procedures play a role. The exchange has security measures in place to protect users and prevent fraud. These measures, while essential, can sometimes slow down transactions. For example, large withdrawals might require manual review, adding to the processing time. Kraken also adheres to strict regulatory compliance, including Know Your Customer, KYC, and anti-money laundering, AML, regulations. These regulations require Kraken to verify the identity of its users and monitor transactions for suspicious activity. If your account is flagged for review, your transactions might be delayed until the necessary checks are completed. Let's look at specific transaction types. Deposits, withdrawals, and internal transfers each come with their own set of potential delays. Deposits, especially those involving fiat currency, can take time to clear. Bank transfers, for instance, can take several business days, depending on your bank and location. Cryptocurrency deposits rely on blockchain confirmations. The number of confirmations required varies depending on the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, for example, typically requires 6 confirmations, which can take an hour or more. Withdrawals, especially large withdrawals, are subject to more stringent security checks. Kraken might require additional verification steps, such as phone verification or email confirmation. These steps are designed to protect your funds but can add to the processing time. Cryptocurrency withdrawals are also subject to network congestion, as mentioned earlier. Internal transfers, moving funds between different Kraken accounts, are usually faster. However, even these can be delayed during periods of high trading volume or technical issues. So, what can you do if your Kraken transaction is pending? First, check the network status. Websites like blockchain.com and Etherscan provide real-time information on network congestion. If the network is congested, patience is key. Your transaction will eventually be processed. Second, check your transaction fees. If you used a low fee, consider using a transaction accelerator, if available, to speed up the process. However, be aware that these accelerators often come with additional fees. Third, check your Kraken account for any notifications or requests for additional information. Kraken might need you to verify your identity or provide additional documentation. Fourth, contact Kraken support. While response times can vary, they can provide information on the status of your transaction and help resolve any issues. Fifth, ensure you entered the correct address. A mistake in the address can result in lost funds. Double and triple check your addresses before confirming a transaction. Sixth, understand the required confirmations for each crypto asset. Each asset requires a certain amount of confirmations before the transaction is finalized. Seventh, be aware of Kraken's processing times. Kraken provides estimated processing times for different transaction types. These times are estimates, and actual processing times can vary. Eighth, avoid initiating transactions during periods of high volatility. During these times, both network congestion and Kraken's processing times are likely to increase. Ninth, consider using a hardware wallet. While a hardware wallet will not impact the speed of network confirmations, it can keep your funds secure while they are in transit. 10th, understand that some things are simply outside of Kraken's control. Network congestion, specifically, is a factor that affects all exchanges. It's important to remember that the crypto world is still relatively young and evolving. Network scalability and processing speeds are constantly being improved. However, until these improvements are fully implemented, pending transactions will remain a part of the experience. So, the next time you find yourself staring at that spinning, pending icon, take a deep breath. Understand that you're not alone. It's a common experience, and there are steps you can take to understand and potentially mitigate the delay. Ultimately, patience is a virtue in the world of cryptocurrency. While the anxiety of a pending transaction is understandable, understanding the underlying reasons can help alleviate some of that stress. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.